to the Armchair GM podcast.
Well, that was an awkward intro.
A little bit.
Not
Fun
sure.
game, though.
Yeah, it was a fun game, actually. They played a hell of a first period.
They really did, and I thought they actually played a pretty good third period, too.
Yeah. They redeemed themselves after the second, because obviously Washington controlled, I don't know, 95% of that period, but
Most.
yeah.
The second period?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so, too. And honestly, I thought they kind of, like Washington kind of controlled parts of the first period as well. But it was definitely like they controlled like a couple shifts, whereas most of the period was full on Flames. How's it going, Tuck? Thanks for joining.
Cheers, Tuck. Yeah, there was as far as road victories go, I mean, it was pretty impressive, right? It all started with the pace that they brought in the first. Like they were just all over them. They weren't allowing Washington to get set up in our zone at all.
Yeah.
They controlled the pace. They were entering Washington's end pretty easily.
Yeah.
Right. There wasn't a lot of pushback from Washington in that first period, which is great. Yeah. You think, right? Who would have thought that Ball would be the one that we're really missing? Not saying that we didn't miss Zari, but not having Ball on the ice for those games was noticeable.
I mean, we missed both of them, I think, but
yeah,
at the beginning of the season, like, don't get me wrong, it's not like I was hating on Ball or anything like that. I thought that it was a good acquisition along with the first round pick. But quite frankly, I was not expecting him to be as important to the team as he is.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, he's obviously been logging in the minutes playing with Anderson. Not saying that he's only eating ice time, because he has a lot of different attributes that are crucial to Flames victories, I think. I mean, that he's got like a 27-foot reach when he gets his stick going and stuff, and he really is noticeable on the ice every game. And for the right reasons, right? Normally you say for defenders you don't want them to be noticeable, but he's noticeable for the right reasons. Same with Pahal, right? He'll make a hit, he'll clear in front of the net. He doesn't give a shit who you are.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of anybody. He's just hard-nosed defender. Period. Yeah. Does he make some mistakes? Sure. Is it very often? Not in my opinion.
No, I don't think either him or Ball make really almost any mistakes. Like every once in a while they do. And I just wanted to point out too, like, while we're on the topic of defensemen not making many mistakes, I've really liked Solovyov. And like a lot of the time it's because you don't notice him, but when you do notice him, it's because he's doing something good. Just like you said with Ball and Pahal.
Yeah.
I haven't had any issues. Like, I don't think he's given the coaching staff any reason to get rid of him or to sit him or to put Bean back in. And quite frankly, I have way less of an issue with Bean than it seems like much of the fan base does. When he's on the third pair with Pahal, I don't think he makes many mistakes, and I think that he's generally pretty good. But I think Solovyov is better.
No, I agree. I think he is better. And Hanley has looked pretty good in the last two games, so I do understand why he was playing tonight over Bean. That being said, I mean, in my opinion, you can flip a coin with those two of who I'd rather be playing.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I'm happy Barry's been sent down. I mean, it sucks for him, obviously, but when it comes to us watching the games, I think most people who actually pay attention and don't just look at like stats from 5 years ago can actually like honestly say that that Bean, Pahal, and Solovyov have all been way better than Barry has, and even offensively, like Barry has those plays, the occasional play he makes that is fun to watch, but for most of it, it's really hard to watch him play.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's getting at that age. The game is passing him by. He's definitely not what the Flames needed at this moment in development at all, in any capacity. Unless you bring him in to mentor the D-men, but then you make him an assistant coach, right? He doesn't need to be on the ice. If you're going to mentor, this D-core, I'd much rather than bring in Michael Stone or something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind him like Barry being there as far as attitude and a healthy scratch or whatever, but
sure,
there's no reason to have him in there like over any of the other options, even like fucking Brustevich, who's been really good in the AHL lately, or Kuznetsov, who also is knocking on the door. Like we have so many guys who are way younger, who are knocking on the door, whose careers are just starting, and Barry's just like in the way.
Yeah, 100%, and it showed, right? He didn't play many games at all, and rightfully so. Like he was definitely the 8th or 9th defender. Yeah, which is pretty much where we slotted him. At the beginning of the season, to be honest, because we were both kind of baffled that he made the team.
I was baffled that he even got a PTO.
Yeah. I honestly thought the PTO was just to appease the fact that we had that opening night preseason home and home series with either Edmonton or Vancouver, right? I thought literally that was why they did it, and then after that night, I thought they were just going to release him, and then we can all move on and quit thinking about him.
Yeah,
I certainly didn't think he was making the team.
Yeah. There's a few forwards that I want to talk about, honestly, but dude, that shot by Matt Coronado, that was insane. And honestly, the dog on the bone mentality that we've all watched and loved from Coronado over the past few months here, he is a classic example. I've seen a lot of people saying Matt Coronado should be playing with Backlund and Coleman because he plays better. But I think that he got what he needed out of playing with them, and he's graduated that because he learned to play better defensively. He learned to not cheat offensively, and he learned when and how to use his shot a little bit better. And he's been promoted, and he's been playing way better with or without them. I don't think
Backlund has done that to numerous players over the years, right? He played with Backlund,
Matt Coronado, Matt Tkachuk. The list goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you get what you need from the man. He teaches you how to play, 200 feet worth of ice, play responsible. I think obviously Backlund's not lighting up the score sheets, but he does what he does. And I mean, I've always appreciated him being on the team. So, but you're right. Coronado getting the promotion is obviously well deserved. He's looked really good since that goal tonight in particular. Like he was gassed.
He was gassed.
Just
that
even getting
shot, that release. Like
that
I don't know if you did you watch his stick?
Well, there was barely any
he had
movement.
Almost lost control of the puck before he shot it, and he didn't he didn't really load it up or anything, and he just like it was almost like a slap pass to the top top corner. It was,
Yeah.
oh man, and it was labeled right where he wanted it, and it was fast and hard, and he had no time to release it, and he didn't really like. I know I've said this before, and a lot of people have like looked at me sideways and like I'm fucking nuts, but there's very few people who have a release like that. Austin Matthews is one of them.
Right.
Matt Coronado is one of them. And when he's on, Yegor Sharangovich.
I was
has
just
the
going to
same-
say that snapshot tonight reminded me of Sharon Govich from last year. That
Absolutely.
release with nothing, no drawback, just straightforward on the snap and picking corners. That's exactly what gave Sharon Govich his newest contract. That's why that, at the time at least, the fans fell in love with him. Obviously, as fickle as the fans are, he's not getting the love these days, which I mean, rightfully so. He hasn't been playing all that well. He's had plenty of issues. I'm assuming a ton of it is confidence, which is really unfortunate because he's one of those guys. If he's on, man, holy shit, can he pick a side? He can pick a corner. He can hit the net from pretty much any angle.
I've actually thought that he's been playmaking with Frost really well, Sharangovich. He hasn't been in positions to shoot as much as I'd like. He hasn't been ripping that one timer as much as I'd like. But quite frankly, like I found him and Frost have had some really nifty passing plays, and Sharangovich specifically has kind of read Frost's dangling abilities, and he's found him on some really nice plays where Frost, like even at near the end of that game we just watched, Morgan Frost did like he dangled two players after Sharangovich passed to him.
Yes.
And even before the Four Nations break, I think there was like 3 games straight or something like that where him and Sharangovich, Frost and Sharangovich were just flying together, and there was a couple games where they scored. One of them scored, assisted by the other one.
Right. Yeah, that sounds about right. One thing I kind of irked me, right, watching him come in on the 2-on-1, or 2-on-1. I think it was second period. I can't remember the period. Where last year Sharangovich would have just shot the puck and likely would have picked a corner.
Yeah.
And he had a ton of room, a ton of space. He had no defender coming in on him, and he chose to pass across in front of the net. And that's not the Sharangovich from last year at all.
Yeah.
So I find that to be somewhat unfortunate, even though he is building that chemistry with Frost. I find a lot of times they spend too much time spinning around and doing, in the cycle to ultimately just kind of lose the puck and not even get a shot on net. It's fancy and fun to watch, but I find from a straight hockey standpoint, I think it's frustrating.
Fair enough.
Right.
How's
But
it
you're
going,
right. I mean, they've done a lot of really good things together as far as making plays, making things happen. I just want to see them shooting the puck more often. Frost shoots a lot, which is great. But I just want to get more out of Sharangovich because we know he's a scorer. We know he's a shooter. I just need him to do it more.
When Sharangovich is hot, when he's feeling it, he shoots, and even like he's a high danger chance creator. I don't know what's going on with him lately, but he's like I said, he seems to be passing the puck more, which is good. But
Yeah, I mean, he's engaged in the games now, right? The first few weeks of him coming back from injury, he didn't even look engaged. He looked lost on the ice. He's at least in the play now.
yeah.
You got people that like to shoot. How about Farabee? The man will try a shot from anywhere on the ice.
I wanted to. Let's get to Farabee in a second. I just want to. Tuck was saying here that he thinks Coronado has 35 goal potential. I think he will hit 35 once or twice in his career, so the potential's there. But I still think he's probably more of a consistent 25 to 30 guy that sometimes every once in a while will hit 35, and that's fucking amazing. Like there's no problem with that.
Mhm.
When I know you've heard me say this before, but I've compared what I think his ceiling is to Phil Kessel, and I think that I might have undercut him a little bit because I've never had like a problem with Kessel's work ethic or anything, but I think that Coronado's work ethic is just a little bit higher, and he's skating better than Kessel ever did.
Well, yeah, the fight in the dog I think is higher in Coronado, right?
Yeah.
He's more gritty. You know,
Mhm.
he works hard, you know, in the corners. Um, and he works hard all over the ice, to be honest with you, right? He doesn't give up on plays at all. He tries to be the first one to the puck in every situation. Like he just yeah, his effort alone. He's like Mangiapane with some upside, with some skill, right? Always has the effort, but at least Coronado can make it happen.
Did you hear? Was it John Abbott that said it last game? He said exactly that. One of the guys, it was either him or Millen that said it on the broadcast last game.
Really,
He said he's like what you wanted Mangiapane to be.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty much it, right?
He's Mangiapane, but he wins the battles that he engages in and engages in just as many battles, and he hits the net when he
Yeah.
shoots.
Isn't that nice? That's refreshing.
He falls over a little bit too often,
Sure. Yeah,
but at least he's
yeah.
got the finish and the he's able to finish his battles.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah. Um. So Farabee, I'm curious. I know there's not a lot of people in right now, but for anyone watching, what do you think of Farabee? Start with Chris, but what do you think of Farabee so far?
You know what? Like, I like what he brings to the team. He doesn't lack in effort. Like he tries as well. He's as far as obviously him and Frost in that acquisition. Clearly, Frost was the main piece of that, which is fine. But I do like the fact that he's not afraid to take a shot. You know, as fans, how many times do we sit there and yell at the TV? You know, shoot, come on, shoot, fucking shoot the puck. But he'll rip it. He'll just turn around and rip it from anywhere, which I do like.
Yeah.
Um, I find him to be slow on plays that I wish he was fast, even though he is not slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird. Like he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's just he doesn't find the corners right or his angles trying to get to a player. So I find him kind of lacking in that. But I mean, for the most part, I don't have a problem with him. I would say we probably have three or four forwards in the A right now that should play above him at the moment, in my opinion.
So, and I'm curious what you think about this comparison. Not as a person, obviously, but
Mhm.
he kind of reminds me a lot of Dylan Dubé on the ice.
Mm. Yeah,
He's always around it, but his head isn't working as fast as the
right,
play is going.
right.
You
Yeah,
know, you know what I mean?
yeah. I think I know what you mean. Like he's kind of 2 steps back, but he's working hard to get there. But unfortunately, the play's already gone by.
Yeah. Um, what a turnaround from Hubie. I'm Hubie's biggest hater, but it's nice to see. Don't get me wrong. Terrible for 10 mil, but he is showing consistent improvement. If he can be a 65 to 70 point guy, That's good. So I just did the math. He's on pace for 62 and he's on pace for 32 goals, which I believe is one higher than his career high.
Hmm.
But he's playing way different than he's ever played before. Even when he had that 100 point season, 115 point season, or when he was having his 70, 80, 90 point seasons, um, he didn't engage. He did most of his damage off the rush,
Yeah.
not off of creating plays well already in the zone. And the Flames don't exactly have a whole shitload of very effective rush players. So I see what he's doing, and I'm really happy that he's willing to put the work in. There's a few times tonight, and I see it all the time, but specifically tonight, there were a few times I saw Huberdeau spin off the boards with the puck and not just throw it to the middle of the ice and actually like skate it further and make the proper play with the puck. And that's not even counting his goal. Like that, like everybody who's ever watched this show or read any of my comments knows that I do not like Nazem Kadri's game, but that entire play on Huberdeau's goal was Kadri. Like that was a crazy good steal that he made, and he was patient behind the net, and he did that little half wraparound thing he did. And I'm almost positive, like obviously I can't go ask him, but I'm pretty sure he put that off of Thompson's pad on purpose because Huberdeau was there. And then
Right.
Huberdeau made the nice shot, right? And scored.
Yeah. Huberdeau finished it by being that net front presence and, you know what I mean, grinding in front of the net. The player that we thought Kadri was going to be when he got here. Obviously, Huberdeau is taking on the role of Kadri minus the agitator portion of it. You know, he's the one that's driving hard at the net. He's mucking it up. He's getting abused, and that's our $10 million guy, right?
Can I liken him to Sean Monahan a little bit?
Sure. I mean, he's tough too, right?
He's tough to move.
He's really hard to move. Yes. Yeah, he's extremely stable on his feet. You know, obviously Monahan had his injury issues, you know, with the Flames and even beyond. So he's like a Monahan but more durable physically.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't mind it. Obviously, he's never going to live up to that, or maybe he will. Who knows? But it's doubtful he's going to live up to that $10.5 million. Although, if he scores 30 goals and picks up 60, 65 points in 3 years, that is very possibly around a $10.5 million player in 3 years after the cap's raised and more guys are getting 13, 14, $15 million contracts, right? Now it doesn't look great, obviously, and it hasn't looked great for the last couple of years. In fact, it's looked downright terrible for a couple of years, but who knows? It might not look terrible next year or the year after.
I mean, and if we can get 60 to 65 points out of a 33-year-old, I'll take it.
Yeah.
In 2 years, because he's 31 now. So I mean, if he can have this kind of production, over the next 3 years, fine.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Yeah. Yeah, all for it. Straight fire.
Yeah. You know what, Tuck?
Hey.
I don't really agree with you. Guys who stand in front of the net and pick up garbage rebounds and score from garbage rebounds, who have nice shots like Huberdeau does, now that he's using his shot more, 22 might be high, but 19-20% shooting isn't out of the range of possibility for guys who stand in front of the net and have skill and are hard to move. I don't think, you know, I he's probably not going to score 30 every year from here on out, but I could see him definitely scoring a lot from in front like that. And, you know, 25, 30, 35 even, hopefully. I don't think he's ever going to pick up those 60, 70 assists again, but
I don't think so either, because he's not. Yeah, he's not playing the perimeter anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I think your assessment is accurate there. I think, you know, his assists are going to suffer, but, you know, if we can get more goals out of him, then so be it.
Unless we end up, you know, getting a superstar player. And I want to talk about that a little bit on tomorrow's episode. We're gonna do a show tomorrow, full episode tomorrow. I want to talk a little bit about all the Mikko Rantanen talk. But if he has a guy like that who can score 40, 50 goals a year, then I could see him picking up those kind of assists again, but not playing with Kadri and as much as we love Coronado, like he's a little bit far away from being a 40, 50 goal guy.
Well, that's right. If he's getting, 50, 60 assists, that means somebody, at least two people that he's playing with are getting 30 each, and we all know.
Like,
I mean, I also didn't think Kadri was going to score 20 this year either at this point. So, I mean, who knows?
He's proven us wrong, man. And well, I don't know if he's proven us wrong with his play, but he's definitely scoring more than I thought he would score.
Well, that's what he was doing with the kids last year, right?
Yeah.
The last year or the year before? It was last year with
Pospisil and Zary.
Pospisil and Zary. Yeah, to start the season, like he was all over it, and you could see that he had energy because of who he was playing with.
And now I think he's got energy because he thinks he's the guy, which he is more of the guy than he's ever been. And he sees that Huberdeau's playing way better and the team's more competitive than they were supposed to be, according to the pundits, including ourselves. Yeah. And Coronado's lighting a fire underneath these guys as well. Like, it's just been so nice to see, and like at the beginning of the year, Rasmus Anderson's scoring at the beginning of the year was firing everyone up. Like,
yeah,
there hasn't really been a long stretch of players playing badly, of everyone playing badly. There has been stretches of players playing badly, and Wolf also lights a fire under these guys' asses. Like, he's been so good for most of the season. He had a couple bad games before the break, but let's talk about Vladar for a second.
He had a great night. Yeah, he had a great night, especially for as little as he's played over the last 3 weeks.
He's played one game in the last month before today.
Yeah. Yeah, and your first game after a big long break, you get to face the guy that's just 12 away from the scoring title in NHL history, the one that makes a living scoring goals on the power play, and we did nothing but give up fucking power plays.
Yeah,
Vladar did. I have zero issue with Vladar today, none whatsoever. I mean, I still have issues with his puck control, like his rebound control.
Yeah,
but so be it. If he's still going to stop the puck, then obviously I'm going to take it.
I think he was did a really good job of clearing those today.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was needed, right? Because he is known for leaving those pucks out or even directing them towards players that are coming on the offside, and
yeah,
we didn't have the rebounds that we normally do when Vladar's in that. You're right. The defense and even the offense did a really good job of clearing the puck and just getting in the lanes and limiting the high danger chances. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you can, how many power plays do we give him? 4, and we
I think I don't have the stats in front of me. Give me a sec. I do think that they were pretty even. Let's see.
penalty minutes 8 and 6. So yeah, 4 and 3.
Oh, apparently we only got 1 power play. It seemed like more. That doesn't seem right. Maybe the scores are wrong. Maybe I don't remember correctly. But
we got 3 power plays.
Yeah, So it says. Oh no! It says we got 2, and the Capitals got 3.
Yeah, that's right. Because there was the coincidental.
Yeah,
with Ball and Wilson. Yeah, forgot about that.
There was that one save he made at the end of. It wasn't at the end of the game. I think it was like near the middle of the third period. Can't remember who it was on, but he did that thing you were talking about where he kicked it right out to where the opponent was coming to, but he saw it and he tracked the puck better than I've seen him track the puck pretty much ever. And he jumped across and it must have been 3, 4, 5 feet out of the blue paint. And he jumped across and covered it up from that far out. But you're right. He does do that often. I think that, like I said, the team really played the way they need to play in front of Vladar to be successful. And they played differently in front of Wolf because they can.
Well, Wolf doesn't leave those rebounds, right? No. Wolf is like a vacuum when it comes to a lot of those. So he doesn't leave those out to dry. And I've been saying it for a couple of seasons now. Vladar is a really good goalie for somebody that doesn't know where the puck is 30% of the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like he just gets in the way of the puck and he doesn't know why or how. He just is.
Yeah.
Right? He's just like,
Vladdy is like the Sharangovich of goalies in the way that they get hot. They're insane, but can quickly cool off. Yeah, I can see that. I don't really specifically. I don't know what's going on with Sharangovich. I'm kind of disappointed with him this year, but I still think I don't think that contract's going to look bad ever. Really, I
don't think so either.
It's not really high enough, and maybe it's just because of our cap situation currently. We have 18 million free. It's not like any player we have is hampering us currently, right? Not like we
exactly.
can't sign somebody because of it.
Yeah, I mean we have so much flexibility for the deadline. It's almost laughable.
I'm almost curious, as I've heard lots about Seth Jones requesting but not requesting a trade. And nobody's taking him for 9.5 million or 10 million or whatever he is. But hey, Flames take 3 of those. Give us a second round pick.
I mean, you mean just to eat him up? So just for a pick, and then just get rid of him afterwards, I assume.
No. Like we take 3 million. Like we act as a broker. They trade Jones to us, and we trade Jones to the team he is going to.
Got it.
We carry 3 mil because the Blackhawks can carry 2-3 mil. We carry 2-3 mil, and then all of a sudden Jones is a $5 million defenseman, and he's actually really good for a $5 million defenseman, right?
Yeah,
that's the type of thing I'd like to see us do with our cap space. Now, Jones might be a tough one because of the length of his deal, but
I honestly thought you were just clamoring for us to bring in Jones, and I was like that. I'm like I can't go with you on this one, bud.
No. I'm saying eat some money for a draft pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We have the room and we certainly don't need the players. So, I mean, why not? If we can, if we can get a second round out of that, then sure. Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's really about as far as I want the Jones to Calgary conversation to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Again, Jones kind of reminds me a lot of Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
Both of
Yeah,
them
like
are
not terrible, but not worth $9 million.
yeah. If you had him for 4.5, 5.5 mil, you'd be fucking somewhere between pumped and okay. You wouldn't be pissed off like you are with them at 9 mil or 10 mil.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how people are feeling about Huberdeau.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Huberdeau at 6.5 is great.
if you're a competitive team, then you like if you're the Oilers, say, you'd be pissed with that. But like I look at Huberdeau and the Flames right now, like he's not hampering us in any way because is he overpaid? Yes. The Flames have $18 million in cap. Like it does
Yeah.
not
Is he
matter at
overpaid?
all currently.
Yeah. Is he overpaid? Yes. Is he leading the team in goals? Also, yes. Is he tied for the lead in points? Yes. Like, who gives a shit, right? We have the cap space. He's not hurting the team.
Yeah. If we didn't have cap space and we were second in the division and we wanted to pick up a player on the deadline, then yeah, that 10.5 mil would be hard to swallow. But currently the Flames are, like I said, 18 million or whatever it is over or under the cap. So having an
Yeah.
overpaid player really is just helping us
Yeah.
reach the cap floor because
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Without him, we're not even there. That's a good point. That's just some good GMing from Craig, right?
well, I mean that was Brad, so
Well, no, I mean the current space in our cap. Sorry,
yes.
not talking about Huberdeau's contract or Kadri's contract. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking about like where we were the day Craig started compared to where we are now in flexibility and kind of sky's the limit with where we can go with acquiring players and potentially moving players.
Yeah. Tuck asking the question, the Anderson question. What are your thoughts on Conroy wanting to re-sign Anderson? I absolutely hate it. Last couple months he's been atrocious. He's gonna want 8 mil plus. I honestly, it's not the 8 mil. I don't think is worth it. It's the 8 years. If you got Rasmus Anderson at 8 mil for 5-6 years, I'd be fucking so down. I think he's a classic example of a player who is a really good 18 to 20 minute player, but he's not a good 24, 25, 28 minute player.
Right.
And yes,
Yeah.
we have Perek, Hunter, Brstevich, Mackenzie Weegar, Henry Muse, who is so far away from the NHL still. But yes, we have a bunch of right-handed D, but I also and Kevin Ball is I don't think he's right-handed. I think he's left. I'm not sure. But we've got to re-sign him still if we're going to extend him. I don't know. I like Rasmus Anderson's leadership. I like him as a player most of the time. uh he had, he's had some gaffes, like you said, over the past few months. Um, he's also been playing with, you know, like 2 games ago, he was playing with Sloviov, who I've liked, but Sloviov also probably shouldn't be eating up 24 minutes. um,
Definitely not.
he's when he's playing about 20 Anderson, when he's playing about 20 minutes, and when he's got a good partner, he's a great defenseman. When he starts playing a little bit too much and doesn't have a partner that's worth a damn. Again, I like Sloviov, but there was a couple games he was playing with um Miramonov. He had a bunch of shifts with Barry. Like
Yeah.
Rasmussen, like there's guys out there, Chris Tanev, there's guys out there, Cale McCarthy. Like you can put some of these guys, obviously those guys are really different players, but you can put some guys with, quite frankly, bad players and they'll still perform. Rasmus Anderson needs a good partner, not because he's a bad player, but because he needs somebody who complements him. And he hasn't been playing with somebody that complements him since Ball was hurt.
Yeah, he needs somebody that's going to hang back and allow him to have the freedom to lead the rush, to be the guy behind the net for 5 seconds. He's really good at getting back into position. I find if the play breaks up, he's right back to his position. He doesn't buck around.
Hard to get back. He skates really hard to get back. That's one of the things I like the most about him.
In my honest opinion, I have no problems paying Rasmus Anderson $8 million. I just don't know for how long is my critique or what my issue might be.
So Anderson is one of my favorite players on the team. And for me, I see like the past few years, I've had serious how do I say this? I've had some serious opinions and been very opinionated about trading Hannafin, trading Lindholm, like whether I do or don't want to trade these guys, right? Most of these guys I've had serious opinions on, but when it comes to Rasmus Anderson, if we trade him and get a huge return, I'm fine. If we sign him to a midterm $8 million contract, I'm fine with that. Either way, I'm not going to be upset and I'll be happy.
Yeah. I mean, he still has another full season on his deal.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, you're one of your top pairing D-men making $4.5 million is a freaking steal.
Yeah. Currently.
Yes. And for one more season. So I think he took that. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a discount at the time. But it definitely looks like a discount now. Mm-hmm. So I feel like you reward him for his time, the amount of ice time he gets for what he's kind of done for the franchise and the name that he's developed while playing here. You give him that reward, and like I said, I don't have any issues giving him $8 million for 4 years, 5 years. But that's me.
Yeah, I agree. I also just want to like as a closing thing on the Anderson topic, I just want to say it's not just playing with a player who will let him join the rush or go behind the net. Also, if he played the whole season or most of the season with a player like Parekh later in 2-3 years, if he plays with Parekh, let's say, and Parekh's the guy who goes back, Anderson is also really good at being the guy who stays back if that's his role. The problem this year is that I think his role has been confused because he went from playing with Ball to playing with guys like Miramonov and Barry. And how are you supposed to complement Ball, who's going to stay at home the whole time, and then go and compliment Barry, who has no fucking idea how to defend worth is anything, right?
Yeah, and Miramonov, same thing.
Yeah, and Miramonov the same thing to a lesser extent.
Yeah.
And then he was just figuring it out, and then they're like, you know what, you get Hanley for a couple weeks. So now he's confused what he's got to do, right? If he
How long was
knows
Ball?
what his
How
role
long
is,
was Ball out?
good. Sorry,
Do you know? Do you remember how long Ball was out for?
I want to say 5, 6,
Looks
7
like
weeks, like that.
Yeah, it looks like 9 games.
That's it.
He's played 47 games so far. The rest of the mainstays played 56.
Okay, so he's been out 9 games, and in that time,
Is that noticeable?
it's that noticeable. But in that time, Anderson's played with Barry, Miramonov, and Hanley, and Solovyov. Just a bunch of different style players.
I guess the big saving grace on that injury was having the Four Nations in between there, right? Because that gave us an extra couple of weeks to get him and Zari healthy and back on the ice again.
And I think it was also, I hate to say this because I'm sure Rasmus would fucking punch me in the face for saying it, but I also think it's a saving grace that he only played 1 game and then got eliminated.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I said this before the tournament even started. I didn't want Rasmus Andersson at that tournament. I wanted him to do what Uyghur did and fucking chill. So I'm happy that he got to chill in the press box for the first 2 games. Then he played 1 game, and I thought he played really well from what I heard. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch it, but I did hear he played really well. And then they got eliminated that game. So I was happy that he got a break before the 1 game, and then the big break after the game, and didn't practice for a few practices after he got back. And I thought that's what he needed more than anything else was rest. And I actually thought he was good tonight.
Yeah, defensively he was fine.
Yeah,
I thought. Yeah, Uyghur's been pretty steady all season.
Last I checked, Uyghur was leading the team in plus minus, but I haven't checked in a few days. So,
he's third on the team in points, which is pretty amazing. He's plus 12. And I suppose what I'm looking at won't be updated. I'm pretty sure he was plus 1 tonight as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus 1. So he's plus 13. I'll take that.
Yeah. And yes, Tuck, I do think he's a second pair, a third defenseman. I think he can play second if he's got a really good number 1 D man to play with. But I think he's best suited to like that number 3 D spot where he's, he can do power play too just fine. He's on one of the penalty killing units. He eats up, 16, 17 minutes worth of 5-on-5 time, and then a minute or 2 of special teams time, and plays against other teams' second best line and their first best line sometimes. And I think that's where
I wouldn't have a problem in that role.
An $8 million player soon.
Yeah.
Like in 2 years, that's an $8 million player.
Yeah. Yeah, with the cap going up, the 8 mil's fine for that. Yeah, I kind of
And as
peg
long
him
as
the
it's not
same between
70.
18 to 19 minutes.
Yeah.
No, because he's already getting up, up in age. So we don't want to be paying the man 8 mil when he's 35. Right, he's 28 now.
Yeah.
Still has another year. It'll be 29, almost 30 when the new contract kicks in. So
Yeah.
4 or 5 years at 8 mil.
So, Tuck, this is something I agree with, right? Uyghur will probably be a second pairing D in the next couple years as well. But we still need somebody for the next 2-3 years to play that second pair of, number 2, number 3, number 4 defenseman. I do not think Perek will be ready. I think he'll probably make the team next year, and because he can't play in the AHL and he's way too good for the OHL. So I think he will make the team next year. He will be a regular healthy scratch. He will play Goss Despair D'Angelo minutes where he's power play 1 and insanely sheltered the rest of the time. Muse won't be ready for a few years. Brustevich probably gets into some games. But he
Why?
will be waiver exempt, I believe, so he can go up and down. And Uyghur can play his offside, and you can obviously Rasmus is going to want some trade protection. Uyghur has trade protection, but how many players with trade protection get traded? All of them.
Yeah, there's a difference between trade protection and full no move, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you give him that.
Even guys with full no moves, fucking.
Yeah, it can happen.
Well, sorry, not guys with full no moves, but guys with full no trades. Like Jacob Trouba, like he got traded. They forced him into do I think Conroy would ever pull a Drury? No, he's not gonna.
It would have to be pretty drastic.
Yeah. But
yeah, the situation would have to be dire. Why? Can you answer the question of why Perek can't play in the
A? It's an age thing. I've asked several people.
I thought he just couldn't play this year, but could next year.
No, he can't play next year. He can play the year after.
Really?
I think he's like a month or a month and a half too young.
Stupid.
It's such a stupid rule.
But he can play in the NHL. But he can play in the NHL.
He can play in the NHL, but he can't play in the AHL. That's
the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Absolutely fucking silly. And it's because of the CHL, right? It's a CHL rule because they want to protect their players and they want to make sure that their players are still playing for them.
Right.
As much as they can. Who's in that next game? I think it's Wolf, and I don't even I'm going to double check, but I think it's next. There's a back-to-back. I think that's the next game, isn't it?
Nope. Next game's Tampa.
Okay, so we got Tampa on Thursday, and then we have a back-to-back with Florida and Carolina on Saturday, Sunday. So I do think that you probably go Wolf against Tampa, and then you go Wolf against Florida and Vladar against Carolina. That would be my best guess.
Yeah. And then, potentially then you go, Wolf on Tuesday in Philly and let Vladar, depending on probably against Dallas, or depending on how Vladar fares at the ass end of the back-to-back, maybe you give him Dallas, so then Wolf has another couple days of rest before facing Montreal at home.
Maybe. No, I don't think they want to split anymore. I think they've decided, unless Vladar's next game is like this game, If it's like that, then absolutely they're
Well,
going to keep rotating.
nobody wanted them to split because for quite a few games, Vladar was ass, so he just
Very much.
wasn't getting starts, right?
Yeah.
Whether they wanted to do splits or not, he didn't deserve games, and Wolf was lighting it up at the time, so it just was a clear move to have one guy playing 70% of the games.
Can they do that, Tuck? Can they send Perek to Sweden? I don't think they can. I think only unsigned prospects can do that. Perek's signed.
Yeah.
I think I could be wrong on that. But absolutely if he can go play in the I think it's the SHL, the one that is men, I would absolutely send him over there and play him there. I'd also rather honestly, I don't think he can, but if we had left him unsigned for this year, he would have been eligible for college next year with the new college rules, and I would have done that. Absolutely. Let him go play against older players, thrive there, sign them at the end of the year, give him a few NHL games, and then play, and then hopefully get him in full time in the NHL next year. But yeah, it's just it's just so silly that the rules of the CHL won't let players who are like not just a little bit too good, but like clearly way too fucking good for the league graduate. It's stupid.
Yeah, let them move on. Like, you're a development league, let them move on.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm glad that he has played as well as he has this year, because his camp was less than desirable. So we'll have to see how he looks, next training camp. I want to see
saying
him
the
light
right
it up.
things, and I've heard a lot of good things about his defensive game stepping up, and same with Brustevich. I'm actually really fucking excited for Brustevich.
Yeah.
Because I think that he's like, honestly, if Perek could play in the AHL next year, I think Brustevich would be a full-timer with us next year. And his coaches have had nothing but great things to say about him. I mean, Perek too, but AHL coaches having great things to say about a 19-year-old defense or 20-year-old defenseman, whatever Brustevich is right now, is great, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot different than
great.
a CHL coach saying, "Oh yeah, this guy that got 100 points is good." Yeah, but he's playing against 16-year-olds.
Yeah, and one thing obviously we knew even when Perek was drafted, and just listening to his interviews and stuff, he's super intelligent. Like, as far as just hearing him speak, I think he'll be a natural leader in the future. He'll be the guy that will get the mic shoved in his face a lot, and he'll be really good in interviews. And if he can translate any of what he's doing in the CHL into NHL format, friggin' A, let's go.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I remember when he first got drafted, he had an interview with whoever was on the panel at the time. I can't remember. But he said, the Flames know who I am as a player. They drafted me because that's who I am as a player, and that's how I'm going to play. And that scared the shit out of me, because I was like, so you're saying you're never going to defend? You're not even going to try? That's great.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah.
And then after training camp this year, he had an interview where he said, I need to learn to defend. And I was like, thank God.
Yeah. 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 Sorry, but we've already got Tyson Barrie here. You need to learn how to defend.
Yeah. And yeah, I would also love to see Zane Perek play for us. Johnny Gaudreau forever. I would really love to see him play for us as soon as possible. I think that, like Chris said, he's a really smart kid. So I think he's the type of guy who will understand. I mean, the Flames need a power play one defenseman. As much as I like Weegar, I like Anderson, Neither of them are that good at quarterbacking power play. And I think that if any of Parek's skills are going to translate to the NHL right away, it's going to be that. So I think that if there's anything Parek can do at the beginning of next year, when he inevitably, I think, gets at least a few games, like I said, he'll be the Shane Gostisbehere, the Tony DeAngelo, except not a piece of shit. Guy who plays 12 minutes a night and 5 of them are on the power play. And also gets scratched half the year. But I think that a kid like that getting scratched half the year, if he sits in the press box with a defensive forward like Conroy, with Michael Stone, with whoever else might be up there at the time, Jerome McGinley probably next year, he will learn so fucking much because he's got the brain for it. So I wouldn't mind that.
Nope. No, I want him. Yeah, I want to see him around the club for sure. I want him to learn how to be a professional. He's showing all the signs of it already.
I just don't want
I think
down to the fucking CHL. So stupid.
Yeah. Because you're right. Yeah, it's super unfortunate.
It's hurt lots of players' development. Like, there's some players that should have gone back that didn't. You know, Sven Berchi probably should have gone back for another season with the Portland Winterhawks, right?
Yeah.
Fucking Sam Bennett probably should have played another season with the Kingston Frontenacs, right? There's so many players who should have played another season with their junior team, with, under the tutelage of their NHL teams, giving them goals and motivation to progress. Zane Parekh should be able to go to the AHL and play top pairing minutes in the AHL and learn to defend against professionals and not.
I'm surprised that the NHLPA can't renegotiate that situation. Surely they can understand how that screws over development and how stupid it sounds that they can play at the peak but not at the farm. Like it's literally the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah. I get it from a business perspective from the CHL, from them selling tickets. They are absolutely going to sell way less tickets next year when Zane Parekh, the Saginaw Spirit are going to sell way less tickets when Zane Parekh is playing for the Calgary Flames and Michael Misa is playing for whoever the fuck drafts him, right? They're just going to sell way less tickets. So I get them protecting their assets like that, but I also don't get them holding kids back because that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I totally get what you're saying, but I feel like they're a development league and they know that. Right. I feel like once a player is drafted, the NHL should be able to do whatever the hell they want with them outside of the OHL or CHL. If the NHL has a player, they should be able to put him in the A. If that's where they want their player to be developed. They've drafted him. They've given him a contract. They should have the ultimate say where he plays.
I agree.
If he wasn't under contract, I would say absolutely. Then OHL has to say, because he doesn't have a contract. He has an NHL level contract. He belongs to the NHL.
Even if it's like make the decision when you sign the contract. So if you sign the contract the day after the draft, then the team should be able to make the decision that day. I understand that you shouldn't be able to, send a guy up and down from Saginaw to the Wranglers and back and forth and back. I get that.
Yeah.
Because again, like even if say Parekh comes up next year and plays a few games for the Flames, he goes back to Saginaw. He can't come back up to the Flames, right? So he's locked there. And I get that, but you should be able to play in the AHL, especially. There has been some talk of like each team having a player or two that they can do that with at a time. But I don't know. That's just some talk of it. That's nothing official, right? So
Yeah.
but I think what's going to happen now is teams aren't going to be signing their players like a Parekh to contracts because that'll stop them from going to college. So they'll send them to college for a year or two, then sign their bonus laden contracts to make up for the money that they hadn't been making the last couple of years. And then they will have been developing against men, and then they can come play for the AHL once they're 20 or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the OHL is going to play those games, then fuck it, here. Screw
It's
you.
not just the OHL, it's the CHL. It's
No,
the WHL.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is for the USHL though, for the whatever you call it, US NDTP or whatever they call it.
Right.
I think those guys can just go to college, but I'm not sure. Actually, I think they can because Coronado did it, like Gabe Perreault did it, Will Smith did it. I think all those guys can do it.
Right.
But again, once you're the year in college, you can't get called up to the NHL team until the college season is done. So
yeah.
Or the AHL team. So just like with Johnny Gaudreau coming up at the very end of that 1 year because he had just won the Hobey Baker and finished the season. And then
let him get his accolades, right?
Yeah.
That was an exciting first game, though.
It was. Yeah, a player in college cannot have an NHL contract signed. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why they waited until the end there for Craig to go down and sign him. Yeah.
Right, because they sent Conroy down and he actually went and met him. Right.
Yeah. They weren't sure if he was actually going to sign. So they sent in the big dog. Send in the big guy with the smile. He'll sign anything. He'll get anybody. He'll make anybody fall in love with the team.
Yeah. I think we've only got maybe 10 minutes left. So anybody else have any questions or comments they want to throw down, let us know and we'll read them before we go. But we're an hour and 10 minutes in almost here. So we're getting close.
Getting close.
Again, that was a hell of a first game or second game back from the break there. Really happy with the way that the entire team, including Vladar, which really surprised me, played against, the second best team in the league and the second best goalie in the league. Very impressive. And that one goal that what did you think of that Ovechkin goal?
I mean, it wasn't as strong as what you expect for him on the power play, but it was all right, right? Like,
it was a weird goal.
Yeah. Just gonna pull it up there and trying to.
Without Chains, thank you for coming in and showing your support. Been a while. Hopefully we'll start doing some more of these now that my schedule may have fixed up a bit and I'm neither of us are on vacation anymore and stuff. So hopefully we can do some more of these coming up soon.
I don't know. I just looked at that goal again, Dylan. I don't think it was that weird. I mean, aside from the fact it wasn't fed across the ice to him for the one time, it was pretty. It was just a snapshot, right?
I think the weird part of it was Vladar's reaction,
Right.
because he was clearly a little out of position.
Yeah, too far
But,
to his
like,
left for sure.
I think what made it look weird is that it wasn't a one-timer and he was still slow on it, because, like, when the puck's going over to Ovechkin, you fucking move. But the puck
Yeah.
went over to Ovechkin, and then he was able to hold it for a little bit, and Vladar still didn't get over.
Oh no, he didn't hold it. He came to him and he snapped it right away.
Didn't he hold it for a second? No?
No.
Okay. Still, it was slower.
No,
It
I mean
seemed anyway
it
slower.
happened. It happened pretty quick, but it was obvious that it was going to happen. Like he should have been there to begin with,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, he was too far to his left. Absolutely didn't quite know where he goes. Hey, if anybody wants to see some good grill videos on YouTube, give this guy a follow. His name's Ryan. He's a really good dude.
Charcoal
Does,
wood fire.
Charcoal wood fire. Does his grills meat. Eats a lot of meat.
Sounds like the type of guy I want to go have a beer with.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah, I've known him for a number of years. He's a good dude. I've never gone for a drink with him. We're always working together through the day, so we drink a lot of coffee and have lunch and show pictures of food that we grill.
I was gonna, yeah. No, I would love to have a beer, or even not have a beer. My standards when it comes to, like, somebody
You have standards.
grilling some meat is like pretty low. I'll eat it even if it's not that good, and if it is good, I don't even need to have a beer with it. I can just eat it.
I don't need anything to wash it down. It's like I said, like I've always said, even about pizza, right? As a guy, sex is kind of like pizza. Even if it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Usually.
Yeah, usually.
There's this
Not
one
always.
place in town. They have like a list of pizzas that are the wrong. They're like labeled as something like a classic pizza, like a barbecue chicken pizza or whatever, and it's nothing anywhere near. Like the barbecue chicken pizza has like fucking tomatoes and feta on it. It's like that's not at all a barbecue chicken pizza. And why would you label it as that? You are lying to everybody and yourself. And I'm never ordering from you again. So shut up and go fuck yourself.
You should call them out.
This has gone off the rails.
That shouldn't be a next thing you're gonna know. You're gonna say they put freaking pineapple on it too.
Well, Hawaiian's my favorite, so.
All right, well, you would be. All right, well, this has gone off the rails, right?
Yeah.
So much for Flames talk. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Tuck, for coming in and saving the day with the Oilers suck. Cheers, everybody. Go Flames, go. Like I said earlier, we are going to record a show tomorrow, an actual episode tomorrow, and put it out probably in the next morning. Make sure you hop on to our YouTube page, follow us. Our Twitter handle is armchairgm_pod. I'm all over the Flames subreddit on Reddit, obviously. Feel free to send me a message if you want to talk about anything. And follow us on Facebook.
Yep. There it is. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for the comments and having some fun with us tonight after a great Flames victory over the Caps 3-1.
Fun
Cheers.
game. Cheers.